On my way into Wolf Lake, and I'm excited for today because I don't have to go very far. It's maybe 4 or 5 kilometers of total travel, so very, very little. An 800-meter portage, I think. So that's all very doable. I can do that and be there by probably 10. And then I can do a little fishing and maybe catch some fish. That would be fun. Just saw a nice big bald eagle. I do not have footage of it. Flew off. So that you can add that to the tally of wildlife on this trip that I saw but don't have footage of, or thought I saw but not sure, and certainly don't have footage of. Along with wolves I thought I heard, deer I thought I saw, a beaver yesterday that swam under the canoe, and it was rotund. It was like a beach ball. Didn't get footage. The fox that ran across the road. So it's cool that there's so much wildlife, but I'm not getting more than half a second to see any of it. Can't get footage. Well, thank goodness for GPS. This lake can be a bit confusing, and I just paddled a pretty long way past the bay I was supposed to go into. So, good thing this is a short day. Well, here's where the adventure begins. This is the portage into Wolf Lake, and it was very kind of hard to find. It looks easy enough here. You can see a bit of a channel on the screen, but from the water, this just looks like forest. You can hardly see anything. And there's a log there which makes access into this difficult. You have to get out, stand on the log, and slide your canoe over it. So off to a tricky start, and I thought this would be the easiest part. Farm Creek and all that was a breeze. It's well traveled. Here on out, I don't know. Cool. Otters, I think. Kind of hard to tell from here. It must be. So the trail, I found a trail. For a while I was just following a creek bed, which was terrible. Another bird just flew off. And yeah, this feels pretty wild in here. And now I'm just going alongside the swamp. And I'm going to go back for the canoe. I don't want to get too far away from any of my gear, because it's not that easy to follow in parts. And I'm going to do a little clearing too on my way back with my little folding saw. This trail needs it. This is why I couldn't find the trail. I started down there on this bay. The trail that I found goes up this way. So I'm guessing this is the best place to access it, not the trail that I knew of. So good to know. Still don't see any kind of a path to the canoe where I originally used to take out there. Wet shoes are imperative if you're going to take this route, because you're just going up a creek, and even when you're not in the creek, it's pretty mucky. But beautiful right now. Look at this forest floor, the canopy. Lovely. Okay, so when you come out of Island Lake, it looks like this is the right way to go. There's a flag here. It's trodden down. But that'll take you up the creek. There actually is a semblance of a path this way. If you turn right at this big dying white pine, go up that way, and there is somewhat of a trail. I'd say it's easier than the creek. Thankfully the trail's a lot better now. It's pretty wide, pretty clear. This trail can be pretty confusing at times. Come to this fork, and it looks like right is a little clearer, so I was going to take that. Left the canoe here, went to go get the other gear, the rest of it, and realized that neither one is correct. This is the right way. And this is where I came from. So you have to do a hard turn back. It's not even, you can't even really tell that there's a trail there. So it's been a long portage. Phew, finally, that's behind me. With that exploration of that trail and just getting confused, doing some clearing work, that 800-meter portage, including a double carry, totaled over 5 kilometers of travel and almost 2 hours. So I'm feeling that. I'm pretty tired, so I'm really glad this is my destination lake and I can find a camp here. I think there are a couple, and just chill out and fish the rest of the day. Camp's mostly set up, and this is the only campsite, the only decent one I found on the lake, so I'm glad for it. It's a beauty. It's a little island kind of in the middle of the lake. Very small, but not all mucked up with garbage or over harvesting of timber. So that leads me to believe that it doesn't get used all that much. So it's really nice. Time for lunch now. People do a lot of funny things when they're building fires. And I think it starts right there. They build a fire. I don't recommend building anything. Get some birch bark or your fire starter. Dry pine needles if you don't have birch bark. Get a bit of it going. Just got some garbage in the fire. And then loosely add some more birch bark. Don't need that much. Don't build a teepee, don't build a cabin. Just process your wood beforehand. Get a nice pile of fine kindling. Should be way smaller than the diameter of your pinky even. And loosely kind of sprinkle it on top so that there's plenty of air in between. Then you get your closer to a finger length diameter kindling, and again just kind of sprinkle it on top, and the sprinkling motion it kind of separates it all and gives it some breathing room. Don't build anything, just add things as they become necessary. When people put things like this isn't even wrist width, but a lot of people will put things like this on when they're building their fire, and that's just cutting off oxygen. Now I can start adding these, maybe even not yet. You want to rush right to the end of your fire building. You want to just build it piece by piece. The wind is gusting quite a bit, so fishing is on hold, which is fine because I'm pretty gassed right now. So I'm happy to be in the hammock. And it's still pretty nice out, warm enough. I'm reading this book by Armand Garnett Ruffo about Grey Owl, and it might be the weirdest book I've ever read because it's pretty much entirely written in prose. It's like a giant poem, but you know, it's long. So, away I go. Came out to do some fishing despite the wind. I'm on the main body of Wolf Lake, and on the north shore there is another campsite, and it's really nice, especially with these maples on fire here. Big site, hardly used. There's grass in the fire pit, but it's a nice one. Just had an absolute disaster. My good camera microphone, windscreen, completely submerged. They all fell in the water. They were in there for a few seconds. So I don't know if they work. I don't want to turn them on until they've dried out, because that could only make things worse if I turn them on while it's wet. So I've got them all opened up there, and hopefully they can dry out, and if I'm extremely lucky, they'll still work. I got this new tripod because my old one was busted. I cheaped out and got an Amazon Basics one, and this thing is so stupid. This just came off. I guess there was a screw there or something, and it either fell out or never came with it. And as I was pushing the canoe off that campsite, this tipped, and the weight of the camera pulled this right off, and it all flew right over the edge into the water. So I'm super upset. Gonna have to film on this little point and shoot for now. I'm gonna let that dry out for the rest of the day. Finally got a fish, tiny smallmouth. See them on the board. I was just about to start the moment of truth, put a battery in, still in the off position, and it just turned on. And it's making a little buzzing sound. Can't be good. Turn it back off. Okay. On and off switch is not responding. Oh boy. It's not good. Just hoping I get really lucky. If this doesn't work, then I'll cost myself $1,000 today. Camera won't turn on at all now. And I expect the worst for it. It's probably cooked. At the very least, I need a costly repair. And these days it's almost cheaper to buy something new than to repair it. So I am upset. It's almost happened many times this summer. It's the nature of having a tripod that has a high center of gravity on a canoe. It's tipped many times. But what killed it today was the fact that the top part came off because of that cheap tripod from Amazon. Not good for the rest of the trip. Now all I have is this point and shoot camera, which is like a B-roll camera at best. And the audio quality on it is pretty bad unless I'm a foot away like I am right now, and it's okay. Sun's down. Lake is covered in surface breaches. But I just don't feel like going out right now. Pretty bummed about my camera. I'd rather just relax.